Boom. What's going on, y'all? It's your brother A.D.V.I.S, and we are here today with the first installment of What's the Word Wednesdays. What's going on, brother? How you doing? Thank you for coming up in here, man. Shoot, we just letting things start up. My laptop right now is also getting itself ready, but I'm about to put in basically the topics that we got for today. But other than that, man, while everything is getting ready where it needs to, just tap in, tell me what's up, what's going on, what's the word as we getting stuff all set up and ready. But thank you for tuning in. Thank you for everybody else that's tuning in. Boom. So today, my brother, we're going to be going into a few different things. I'm glad to hear that, G, man. I'm really glad to hear that. I'm glad that you're doing good, man, especially in these times what we going on. We should. Alright. Boom. Alright, boom. We got that right there. But, bro, if you have any other things you want to add and put to it, please let me know. We still letting some time for everybody to get in. But welcome to What's the Word Wednesdays, man. It's the first official episode. I'm definitely a lot more so excited because that's the case, as well as being able to start and create a community around, conversations during this time, as well as to connect with everybody. But right now, I'm just letting my laptop get set up so I can be playing some music in the background. Give people, a few more minutes to get started. But if you have anything, brother, that you've want to share, you can throw it in the comments or at any time during this live. If you're still here, I know everybody's busy. They got other things to be doing too. And I'm grateful for your time being here. Bro, you can jump in and give your perspective on these topics and stuff that we're going to be talking about. So I'm just going to wait probably if we get, one or two more people. If not, we'll ride it out to about another 2 minutes as my laptop is finally updated. It's taking its lovely time. But while that's still going on, I might as well share at least the background, at least to why this became a thing. So the reason for me creating What's the Word Wednesdays was based off of a few factors. One being the idea to, have more interactions with family and supporters and everyone that's here, and to engage them in, cases of dialogue, talks around certain stuff, just really connecting and creating a community where during this time we're building something, whether even if it's just coming back with a different perspective or different information that we did not know of that's being shared. And another aspect of why this came to be what it is I was actually inspired by a song by a group. And in the song, it basically was just saying, what's the word? But for me, it just stuck. So literally, I get with that and I work with using that as a reason why to have that as one of the reasons why it started. It was based off of a song as well as based off of the intention of wanting to build and connect. So with that being said, brother, and everybody else is going to come in, we're going to get this started off with the song that started it off, and then we'll officially start getting into stuff. So welcome, y'all, to What's the Word Wednesdays. I am your host. It's your brother, A.D.V.I.S, and we're going to start it off with the song that's behind the history of why, and then we will continue with the show. So with that, what's the word, y'all?
Yeah, peace to anybody. Peace to Skill Gates.
The group is called Shinsight Trio. This how it goes. What's the word, y'all? What's the word? 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 That's what I'm talking about, y'all. So, let's get into this. Appreciate you, brother, man. One day, I'm with you. Have you on, man, and we can go back and forth, even come up with topics and other stuff together. But I'll catch you. Appreciate you. Other than that, y'all, let's continue. Let's get this going on the road, get it started. So for today's What's the Word Wednesday, the topics that we got and what we're looking into is current events. So that's anything that we've seen going on in the news right now, any other knowledge or information that you came across this past week, which I like to call strength, as well as expectations versus reality, and getting into what both of those mean in terms of each other and also opposite of each other. And then lastly, touching on why we should love ourselves and really the importance of having that love and that self-love for yourself. With that being said, now when it comes to current events, everyone throw in your comments, come share with me. This is all about connection, community, and hearing everyone's voice when it comes to stuff like this, because I don't know everything. I don't know all that is going on. That's why I'm saying what's the word, so we know what's the word not only on the street but going on in the world around us. In my particular case right now, at least current event wise, it's been a lot of talk and conversation again around, the coronavirus and around this second wave that is approaching us very soon, as well as how that looks in terms of healthcare, work, schools, businesses, and whether if the lockdown or if not the whole quarantine will progress on further than we expected it to be. So not in short, but I would say from one of those pieces there, I saw in an article that at least within the LAUSD, in schools, at least in LA in particular, they are going to continue to keep the classes online for kids for this first half of the semester. So there will still be online, no in person, just so this second wave that is approaching is handled while kids are still getting that interaction with school and areas and things that they need. Also, with that too, I not only heard, but I also saw an article that compared to LA, in Orange County, they are actually not mandating the social distancing as well as masks for kids when it comes to them actually going back next month in August. None of that is mandated. They are pushing for that to be the setup, not knowing the current state in the current event of what is this global pandemic that we're facing. And there is a lot of criticism, backlash, and insight to why is that the case? Why are they voting, as in the council that's there in the OC, or at least the school board, and whoever else that is empower that, why they've they're coming to this decision. So we still have a lot of the protests, and not just necessarily riots, but a lot of the protests and marches still around that, as well as still the racial hostility and the racial discrepancies and things that are still happening on the news all around us, and that perpetually continuing to go as we are doing these current events and in this current system that we are in right now. And to really think about that and put it all into perspective, just quarantine in itself, this point in time, in this era, this new era that we in, 2020, its name, not even to say name, but the number in itself is symbolic to the vision that we're seeing and how we associate 2020 with perfect vision, with being able to see not only physically or visually, but also beyond into a different space, whether that's spiritually, seeing past the lies and mistakes. And it's very evident that a lot of the systems that we have now and that we're seeing that we thought was either for us or was built to this high stature that was meant to do good, we're seeing how not only broken in the sense of it's doing the system's doing what it's supposed to be doing, but how unstable, how unfair, and how truly it's not for everyone. And it is showing all of us how it's really time for us to really critically think and critically break things down around us to figure and see, is this truly what's going on? Is this truly all that there is to what it is? Is this real news? Is this fake news? Is this reality that we living in truly the reality? Or is this a fantasy? Is this the American dream? Is this a dream that I have? Am I in a nightmare right now? But it's so very evident right now in 2024 that, and to have that insight because you see it. So just hearing about a lot more the second wave, like I spoke on earlier, and schools coming back into play come August, and the setup of how that is going to play itself out. But then in other areas, in at least California, at least where I'm from, that there's other places that are not mandating it or actually going back in person to school, and how detrimental that can be. And the other thing I can say current event wise that I've been seeing a lot of, and I don't necessarily subscribe to in any way, shape, or form, but a lot of people are very still interested in celebrities' lives and what happens to other different celebrities. I don't know how many times I've looked on this, only really use Instagram, so I don't know how many times I looked on Instagram and saw about the situation that's happened between Jada and Will. I personally don't know what the whole situation is. I don't care for what the whole situation is personally, but the theme, or I can say the moral that you can take from that, really, when it comes to just relationship wise things, you really have to be accountable for your actions, as well as if you're in it with that person, be in it with them 100%. There's no half-stepping, like Big Daddy Kane said. There is no half-stepping. I know that we're human, and I know that we have our flaws, and we have our times of, you can say, weakness and mistakes. But those mistakes are meant to be lessons that helps us to progress and build on our character where it is not detrimental and it doesn't damage and harm a relationship that you're building and have been building for so long. So for me, that still just goes back to the whole time of, you know, the importance of what a relationship really is, and how that at the end of the day, you are working with another person or groups of people to build something, and in any instant of what you can do, you can strip away with that, if not break the whole foundation, just based off of actions because of something you felt that you were missing. And you go out and you search out in the world, which could bring to our point about really searching within and that love for ourselves. But we will get to that as we're continuing, we're pushing on. And at any time and moment, please feel free, join in, put in your comments, tell me how things are going, what you feel about it, what are you seeing out in the world. Because like I said, it's not only just me having this conversation and speaking to my perspective, as well as perspectives that I come across. It's always great to have that connection, commune with you all. So please feel free, jump in, put down all your comments, your thoughts, all that you have to share, because it is greatly appreciated, and I am grateful for that, like I said. So before we continue to move on to the next thing, just also know that these topics are, they can change at any moment. It's dependent on our flow. I just use them as guides, is to bring back to, you know, a structure. So it's not set in stone. We can go anywhere with all these different topics and how, you know, things can be set up. So if anybody else, once again, has anything that they've seen currently going on, current event wise, that they want to put in and share, please do. I'm very grateful that you do. And shout out to everyone that's coming in right now. Welcome y'all to What's the Word Wednesdays. It's the first episode. I appreciate y'all coming in. And right now, I'm just finishing up on my perspectives and what I've been seeing going on currently in the news and just in the world. So if y'all have anything that y'all seen currently that's going on or happening, you can throw them in the chats. You can jump on with me and have a have a talk with me. If not, it's all good, because y'all, we missed a few half of it already, but I'll sum it up just in short. The most few current things that I've seen actually going on is a lot of talk about the second wave when it comes to coronavirus, as well as the reopening of schools, whether it is going to continue online or in the OC. I heard that they're actually having kids go back in person and not even mandating to have masks. So that whole thing that goes along with that there, as well as the whole symbolism between the year 2020 and seeing the system and all the different flaws for what it is. But that was just my piece and my take when it came to current events. If anybody else has anything, please throw it in there. If not, I'm going to be moving to the next topic, which, once again, it is just there as a structure, and it's really still a free flow at the end of the day. So whoever is up in here, if you do have something to share, you can. If not, I'm going to keep it moving to the next thing. So just let me know. We connecting, community. That's what we in here for. You know what we should play while we're letting people come in? We gonna play some, because I had watched it earlier. I was watching, a few days back, I was watching battle rap. So I saw the Daylight and Tay Rock, but I'm just gonna play some Daylight in the background while we're talking. But anybody have anything? We'll jump into the next thing. So, going from current events, now we come to this idea of expectations versus reality, and how within having those expectations, we're reaching for this level of perfection that, and hence, we will never reach because of the nature of what perfection is, or what we qualify as perfection. So when it comes to understanding what we know as perfection, oh, is that who I think he is? Fabian, what's good, brother? Good to see you. Welcome to What's the Word Wednesdays, my G. I'm just jumping on next to the topic about expectations versus reality. So if you have thoughts, anybody, literally drop it in the comments. You're more than welcome to join me on as well too, to talk your perspective. But I'm gonna continue going in as we're doing what we're doing right now. So once again, when it comes to expectations and reality, you have to be very mindful of, honestly, it really in itself is a half and whole to each other. It's the whole almost idea of duality, as in there's this one side where we see this expectation and this reality up here, or expectation is up here versus the reality things, and we see that it's really down here. And when you put into play about an expectation, you're already setting, in a way, you're setting yourself up for a lot of stress. You're setting yourself up for a lot of failure. You're setting yourself up for a lot of sadness, because of the fact that if your plan that you put out, that you're trying to get to, and you fall short of that, unknowingly, unconsciously, you take that in and you feel that becomes a character flaw, because you like, dang, I said, from this meeting that I was going to create, that the expectation was that I was going to have 15 people here for this meeting and this lecture. But when I came to the lecture, there was only 5 people. So your expectation for having a set amount of people, or where you wanted to have it, you come in and you see where that truly is. In your mind, you've already switched, and you have yourself in a certain state of feeling defeated, or feeling like this is not going to be successful. That's where it starts coming into having different negative thoughts, or what we would consider negative thoughts, because of the fact is, dang, this is what I expected to happen. But the reality is that it technically didn't work out how it was supposed to, because of the fact that we didn't let that happen. So we are about to have somebody jump on. I appreciate it. And we need to have this conversation about it. But just know, even breaking the word down, expectations, you already have that first half.
Oh my God, you are spitting such facts. So fire.
What's going on, everybody? This is Crystal, such a great friend, great person. Welcome to What's the Word Wednesdays, Crystal. So now tell me, what's the word? What's going on?
I just wanted to share my story about moving out here, because that's facts. I literally went through this journey, and I literally finally got out, because I was suffering a lot of depression. Yeah. And like you said, your self-worth starts to go down because you wrap it around an expectation instead of taking a look at what the actual reality is. I was too much in my head of I had a plan. I'm trying to do everything in my power to execute that plan.
Yes.
Not understanding why there were so many roadblocks, and then and I didn't plan for these roadblocks, but that's the reality of how things operate out here. You know what I mean? And I didn't, I'm not from out here, so I didn't know there was going to be these kind of roadblocks, but I kept holding on to my expectations, my should. I know I'm trying to get rid of that word, because that word is very toxic.
Words are spills, you know it.
Yes, just holding on to just what I'm thinking in my Disney kind of mindset of a perfect world, because I'm trying to manifest, my perfect world, because it is you create your world. But to an extent.
Exactly. You have to, when it comes to expectations and the reality of things, you have to have already an understanding of the flow of life and how that goes, and know that we are only able to respond to what happens. I can't tell you and already have power over you and say like, okay, now at 8 o'clock you're gonna go brush your teeth and then you're gonna go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
I can't, you know, I can't have that. And if I make that an expectation that that's what you should be doing, I'm controlling outside of myself. When it comes to that, you can only work on you and what you can bring to the world. I can't tell the air to stop giving fresh air to downtown LA, or I can't tell the water to, you know, stop giving water to my next door neighbors just because I have a grudge or something against them. You have to look at really the reality of that is like, yes, I get it. I can set an expectation if I want, but at the same time, we talk about SMART goals. When we talk about that acronym of SMART goals, being realistic with the idea is like, okay, if I'm going to work out, when we use this almost in tandem with, you know, New Year resolutions and other stuff, but say you're going to work out and you're like, you know what, you want to be very ambitious. You're like, I want to work out 5 days a week. Even though you start already and you haven't worked out, say, for like 3 years. So you haven't even really been moving your body in a way it should, as well as crafting your mind to get back to that mindset. You already in a hint have already set yourself on this high pedestal already, and you're down here on the little stepping stone. So how you think you're going to leap all the way up here on that first week without already having a lot of like, dang, after the first day, you're going to be mad, tired, and you're like, you know what? I don't know if I want to go and how this is going and everything. If you don't do it, you start having that back talk with you like, dang, then I'm not meeting my goals. Then that means I'm failing. Then I shouldn't even be doing this. So like you really put yourself and you set yourself up once again, like I said, for failure because of that fact that you weren't real with yourself. If you already know if you haven't been to the you know, gym is so long. 3 years, like, why are you trying to go all out? I mean, especially nowadays. Nowadays, a whole different story with, you know, coronavirus and going to the gym and other stuff. But in the aspect of how, you know, things once were, like, it would be realistic to be like, you know what? I'm shooting for at least maybe 2 to 3. If not, even if I get to 1, that's okay because guess what? It's 1 more than I've ever done anyways within 3 years. So on that, you're on that path of giving yourself that expectation and being consistent, but at the same time, you're being real with yourself to know that, like, for me, where I'm at right now, like, this is what it's going to end up being, and I will build to get up there, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You got anything
I just
else
wanted to hop on because you're spitting some fire. I just wanted to hop on real quick. We're actually about to start recording, so I hope you catch me.
That's what's up. I know you sent the other one. You sent the other one, which I was definitely getting into. Still listening to, which I know we talked a while back, and I listened to the other podcast that was talking about, you know, the situation you told me about the car and everything, and why you came back with you and Ebony. So I was like, I was listening to that too. So I will. I'm definitely going to tune in on that as well.
All right, bye, Calvin.
Bye. Beautiful. But yeah, and just in actuality, when it comes to having that reality, it really is, it's more so, it's more doable. It's more really, it's really telling of how life actually does move. Because life always has a different ebb and flow. It's not always sunny. It's not always raining. The weather changes. The seasons change. Everything goes through a cycle of change. So there is a certain constant of things, but just know that everything will not constantly be the same. So knowing the reality of how things move in life, that's how you're able to see truthfully when setting goals, setting expectations, striving for this ideal of perfection. You need that reality and that check for reality to tell you, okay, technically this I know is not doable at the state where I am right now. But as I progress, it will become that state. It will become where and what I'm needed for because of that. So when it comes to expectations and reality versus reality, they're connected. But when it comes to having either or, you definitely want to be a lot more realistic than you setting expectations on stuff. Because once again, you can set yourself up for failure, you set yourself up for a lot of disappointment. And you can come with those stuff, and that's all fine and well. Just make sure you're not setting it so high to a point that you haven't reached that. So if anybody has anything else, shout out to Crystal for coming in and sharing. But if anybody else has any perspectives they wanted to add on to that, please do throw that in the comments. Once again, this is meant to be a community and more of talks and connection. So that is the most part of what's the word. Because without y'all, really, I wouldn't know too much of what the word is going on right now. So appreciate everyone. So if you have anything, throw it in the comments. If not, I'm going to be moving to the last topic of the evening and touching on a lot more of how, you know, all of that as well goes in together as one. So as we got those playing in the background, we playing some Daylight in the background right now. So boom. All right, I don't see any other ones right now, but as we push forward now, getting into the last half of the show, and now this part here, it's very, at least close to home for me too, and I'll definitely share, you know, my story when it comes to that, and again, my perspective. Everyone, you're more welcome to share and put that in there. But the question is, why should we love ourselves? What is self-love? And why is it necessary in terms of my life, your life, expectations, realities, and honestly, everything that's going on currently? Why is self-love? Why is that even a thing that's needed? And to me, self-love is very important. It's a part of that building block. And what I mean by the building block, I mean that foundation of you as a being in yourself, and having that so to be like, I can do these things. And even if I do fall short on some stuff, I'm not going to beat myself up so much over it. I'm going to show myself a lot more love, a lot more empathy to really nurture the growth and nurture the love for myself. So when I come out into the world, since I have that sense of love for myself, I'm able to give that freely to others because of the fact that it started with me. So reason why this, at least loving yourself and self-love, really touches home for me in particular, is honestly growing up, that was a challenge and a battle for me, being the fact that I'm speaking to my reality as a black male or black man, and seeing not only in the media but my everyday instances, seeing people that didn't look like me, and being not only didn't look like me, but they also did look like me, but because I was a few shades, or if not, I was darker than a lot of other people, you know, I had a lot of pushback, a lot of resistance, and in a sense, a lot of hatred for the fact that I look the way that I look. And that's something I don't have control over. I can't go and switch this vessel in for a whole different one just because I don't like the reality of what it brings. So basically, for me, it started back when I was little. I really really noticed around on the street in the area and place that I live that I was one of the only few like black families, if not only black boys on the block. And when interacting with a lot of the kids who did not look like me, you know, I came across, like I said, a lot of resistance because of the fact that we've already taught our kids, or a lot of the kids who are out there already had an idea from their parents of what black people that look like me, of who they are, their character, and what they all represent, without actually taking that time to look and get to know me. And from there, transitioning into elementary, middle school, and high school beyond, it ended up coming from my own people and how I got a lot of names that were in connection with something being very dark. I was nicknamed Akon, Milky Way, Hershey's, all these different type of nicknames that were demeaning in a way because of the fact that of the skin that I had. So each time I would end up going to school, like there's times, I get bullied just because of that. And I would always think to myself, why? Like, what did I do? Like, I'm just here to play and learn and have friends just like y'all. Like, why is there an issue of what I look like? Like, why does that even have to be a part of a thing? We have the whole setup of African booty scratcher and all these other different, things of name calling. But where did that truly stem from? And a part of that comes back from, not having that knowledge of yourself and really having that love for yourself and really understanding why that was the case. So when I was in school, shout out to the homie that's up in here. What's up, brother? And while I was in school, I would always get, people calling me these different names just because of the way that I looked. And it's just from, once again, people that looked like me. So as I transitioned on into my journey of figuring out my self-love and being able to love on myself, I had got to a point. I remember one day I was in a car with my mom. And this was me graduating from middle school, going into high school. And I remember telling my mom straight up, I was like, Mom, I don't like my skin. I hate my skin. And she was telling me, wait, why is that? And I was really at a loss for words because of the fact of all of the years of not just only torment and being bullied, not only in school, but also not looking like anybody really that's on my block and being treated differently. It made me really go into question of is my skin of any worth? Like, what, like, why should I even love it if everybody else is, nagging me or treating me differently because of that? And that really shook up my own, to really be loving myself. And I remember telling that to my mom of why I really hate my skin. And it really took me down that rabbit hole of starting to really not just love myself in general. So high school, that was a whole setup of where I started to begin to start challenging that and figuring out why was that the case? Why people was calling me certain names because of the color of my skin? Why is it the same people that are supposed to be my people are doing it to me? And as I gotten older and I've gotten to come into really knowing and loving myself more, I look back on that experience and the experiences and just know how indoctrinated and how a lot of this is socially learned. And especially, I can only speak for myself being, black male, and just knowing how that's perpetuated this whole idea also of colorism, and knowing that having a fair skin is the ideal when it comes to being in the system, and anything else that's darker is looked upon it's associated with evil. It's associated with death. It's associated with a number of different things. So why should you even end up loving yourself if it's associated to something that it's evil? And as I begin, once again, I move now into college and I start even questioning that more and start really just going back to knowing who I am at the root of things. I start to shed that misconception and I start to just really understand that I'm not only what you see on the outside here, there's so much more that there is of me on the inside to get to know, having conversations, talks, music, whatever it may end up being. I start really learning that knowledge and then start really growing to the fact that I may have this here, but overall within me, I come to love me and know me. And I'm grateful and I'm glad that I'm coming to know me and love me, because at the end of the day, as much as you can have your family and friends, love on you, you have to be able to do that for yourself. Because as I stated earlier, once you're able to really love on yourself and really meet yourself where you're at, because we talk about meeting other people where they're at as individuals, we have to be able to meet ourselves where we're at first. And once we're able to do that, and we have this self-love and just understanding of loving our own self, we're able to translate that out to everyone. And then you just walk with that sense of love. And that just comes from being realistic with yourself and really knowing that even though what is being said outside by everyone else, it shouldn't dictate how I truly am as a person and how I should just end up living the rest of my life. So if y'all have anything on this too, y'all feel free, throw in. How do you feel when it comes to self-love? Why is this? Why should we love ourselves? Why is that important? Why can't we not love ourselves and continue? What would that look like if we don't love ourselves and we continue in life? I was just sharing a bit of my story and why I found self-love is very important, at least in my particular case, is because there was a point in time where I really fell into that hate, that self-hate, because of the fact that all the things around me was telling me that, what's going on, brother? Good to see you up in here. A lot of things around me was telling me that what I look like and where I'm coming from, that I'm necessarily bad. I'm evil because of the fact of what I look like. So I internalized that hate and come to end up hating it. And it's just based off of just the different shades of color that's on me. But now, where I'm at now, 2020, when it comes to self-love, I am definitely at the peak of where I feel, and I'm not the peak, I'm still getting there, but I'm really more centered in really loving myself for who I am when I look in the mirror, and not letting outside forces tell me otherwise just because at the end of the day, we're not only just what we are here, we're also souls and energy and having in a body. So you have to go within to really fully understand what's outside of you. All right, let's see what you got up in here. The brother Andre says, "Cause man, you can't make a change if you hating on yourself. Self-love is very important." That is very true. And and to your point too, Andrew, and not Andrew, but Andreas, to your point, if we're in that mind state of hating ourselves, there is really no growth, because that ends up having a negative mindset and no growth mentality in that. So if you've already put in yourself saying that I hate myself, then that's going to bleed out into a lot of other things that you do. You're going to end up hating your job. You're going to end up hating your situation that you're in. You're never going to reach a sense of not only saying satisfaction in what you do. You literally are just going to end up becoming a lot of other bitter folks that are here in this world. So yes, to your point, it is very important. That's the reason why we should be loving on ourselves, especially right now too. You should really be getting in touch with yourself right now at this point, because there's really not much, especially with the second wave that we got coming, that you can be able to do unless you are on the front lines working. But it's very important. You should be working and loving yourself. Okay, 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 okay. Jump in this, bro. That's what this is about. On What's the Word Wednesdays. This is what it's about. Connection with the community and everybody. Look at this
What's up,
guy.
my guy?
What's up, y'all? This is my brother
What is
from
up?
another. This is Jonathan, aka Mr. Kirby. I'm just playing with you, bro. But bro, let us know, man. Shoot. Appreciate you coming and joining, bro. But tell me, man, what's the word?
What is? I feel you. I feel you. What's funny, you mentioned your job. That's what I'm doing right now, working on my job. Honestly, I'm gonna be real with you. I don't like it. I can't stand what I'm doing right now. But I think the more and more I integrate the hate that I feel sometimes with my job, the more negative my outlook, and it goes into my wife. It goes into how I feel about my life, how I feel about just life in general. Like, I'm not at a good place. I'm at a good place, I guess, in my job, but I'm not a huge fan of my job, if that makes sense. So if I just continue to just not like it or get it sucked out of me, it literally integrates every part of my life. And perfect example was like last night, where it's like I blew up, I got angry, I got upset, started throwing stuff, and realizing it may not just be the job, it's other parts of my life, but it definitely contributes. You know what I mean?
No, for sure. And when it comes to that, like, we also have to remind ourselves that, you know, love and hate, they bring different types of energy.
They do. Completely different types of energy.
And when you move in with a certain energy of hate, you can see it plainly nowadays, right now, bro. Like, with all of the, you know, nonsense that's going on out on the streets and stuff. And I follow a few people on YouTube, and they be catching folks who are on these not only racist rants, but very, you know, prejudicial rants. And it's out of the hatred that literally was either it was learned for sure, as well as that's just how they just move and feel about their own lives, that they're reflecting it out. And that's just only just in that sense of hate. But those both come with different types of energy, and how you move with that, it is very determined on how your overall path in life is going to be. So if you're going to love on yourself and you've come to really get a lot of that self-love, it's going to be very easy for you to give that out to everyone else, versus being hateful and hating yourself. Is going to start, like you said, it's going to be implemented in little small parts throughout your life. So
it's going to start off like a little root, and then it just flourishes, and you got to suck it out. I don't know whether it's therapy, whether it's like meditation, whatever you feel, man, do your thing.
No, for sure. Oh, see, all right, brother was asking, or whoever there, I'm not too sure, I don't want to get them wrong, they're asking what's so bad about your job.
What's so bad about my job? Honestly, I gotta be honest. I don't like who I work for. I like the work that I do. The work is great. Love, enjoy the work. It's who you work for sometimes that you tend to absorb their energy. So speaking of energies, right? Let's talk about their energies. If you're in a situation, I feel, where you have a boss or a coworker that you just have to see every day, right?
Yeah.
And you enjoy the work, but that person just sucks the life out of you. That is so hard, because you're caught between, it's like a catch-22. You enjoy the work, but do you leave the work because you can't stand who you're working for or working with?
Yes.
Like, what do you do in that situation? Do you just find, oh, let me just move on, or because it sucks the life? That's where I'm at. You know what I mean?
That's very true. Well, see, that was your answer from the brother.
That was it.
For sure.
The job isn't bad.
Yes.
The job is great. It's who I'm working for that I see every day that I just am like not doing it. Just can't do it, man.
Yes, and to continue on that point too, and to add in the other brother's point in here about how energy is being very contagious, especially when it comes to relationships. That's very true, bro, because there's a such thing as auras. There's a such thing as an energy field. So I know a lot of us know when we come into a room, even as kids, you can even watch and observe kids. They can tell when somebody's either sad. They can tell when somebody's upset. They can tell when somebody's mad or any of those different emotions and feelings. And it's based off of just, observing in the
body language.
Yeah.
By the way they greet you good morning. If they don't greet you good
Yes.
morning, I'm telling you,
Yes.
I gotta hop off, bro. But
Yes.
because I gotta get back to my work and I gotta go eat some food. But I love you. You're doing
Love
great.
you too, bro.
I can't wait to see you and give you a big ass hug and say I miss you. I don't know if that makes any sense.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute, bro. It's been a minute.
It's since the wedding, bro. But for sure,
dude,
bro.
It's been a freaking year. We gotta do something about it. Now we're further apart than ever, but we gotta head out.
No, for sure. But appreciate you coming on, brother. Thank you for coming.
All
What's
right,
the word, bro? Just know every Wednesday, 7:30, if you got time, if you're not on work.
All right,
brother.
bro.
Peace and love. Yeah. So thank you for everyone that's coming in too. We're getting close to the end and wrapping up, but right now we're still on the last part of why you should love yourself and why is that very important. And I was going to touch back on a point someone said about when it comes to energy being contagious, and that's very telling and very true. That is contagious because there is a such thing that I was saying earlier. There's energy fields. So when you walk and you come in contact with somebody, you're exchanging different energies with them. You can tell when something's not right or something's off, or this person gives you a weird vibe, or they give you something that makes you feel uncomfortable. And it's because of the fact that the way that they're working with themselves, body language wise, it lets you know that, yes, either they're walking with some type of energy that doesn't fit for you, and it might seem that it's, not in the sense of where we talk about loving yourself versus, having that self-hate and everything else for yourself. So at the end of the day, why should you love yourself and have that self-love? Is that it gives you a sense of security in knowing that you're comfortable within knowing that the reality of what I am and what I do, with anything that ends up coming out of it, I'm going to love myself regardless and keep pushing to be better versus hating myself because the outside world is also saying that I'm worthless, I'm not worth anything, and continuing to perpetuate that energy and saying, you know what, I hate myself, hate my job, I hate this, I hate that. It's going to get to a point where you're going to feel it physically in your body. You're going to walk with that. You're going to end up exuding that out to other people. And that's where, again, touch on the points about energy and vibes and all of that comes into play. So it's very important, especially right now, like I said, take this time to really love on yourself, even as a little small thing. Even if you, once again, we were talking about expectations and reality. If you have an expectation of wanting to do something and you set it so high that you don't meet yourself there, just know that that's okay. Just know that that wasn't where you needed to set that bar. And now you know from that, you're going to lower down a little bit. Not saying you lowering your standards to where it's terrible, but it's there to where you are at level-wise at that point. So then you could continue to build on yourself. That's all it is. It's really about building when it comes to the self-love. It's helping you grow. It's helping you expand versus the opposite when it comes to not having that self-love, and you go out and you react certain ways to people because of the fact that you're not even loving on who you are. And I know that it's not something that's done overnight. That takes years, especially if you have, histories of different, traumatic experiences, or having a parent or having somebody that you looked up to or was very important in your life tell you otherwise, that you're not worth anything. And it's learning how to reprogram yourself out of that and move yourself there. So it is a process. And I am with all of y'all that I'm not fully there. I've gotten to the point where I really am into and loving myself, not from an egotistical view, but as in giving myself grace and loving on me so that I can give that out to everyone else just naturally without even thinking. So just knowing how important self-love is and knowing how that all culminates into not only what we see currently going on today, but in terms of expectations you set on yourself and truly seeing the reality of what is in front of you and not being stuck too much when it comes to a high standard of perfection that you think is perfection and is completely different for everyone else of what perfection is. And with that, if anybody else has anything that they want to throw, last minute comments, it can even be on something completely different. That this show, What's the Word Wednesdays, is meant for collaborative communication between myself and us as a community and building. So it's having those connections and these different talks. And it doesn't always necessarily have to be about these topics, but it's a great structure to start with. So if anybody else has something they want to throw in the comments and they want to keep in there, you're more than welcome to do so. And I'm grateful for everyone that's had their time. All this, has come on and share what they have. I appreciate each and every one of you. So we got another brother that's coming up in here to share his thoughts. What's going on, Yoni? How you doing? Hermano, what's up?
Hey, what's up, bro? How you doing, man? You good?
What's up? It's good to see you, bro.
Hey, man, I'm happy. Hey, man, I just want to tell you, man, hey, I'm happy that you got your master's.
Appreciate it.
Hey, man, like, when I saw that, I was like, nah. For real? Yeah. I just remember, I was like, it was just not that long ago we was talking about you struggling, you trying to get your work done. I'm just happy, man. I'm really happy.
I appreciate that, bro, man. Yeah, dude. Technically, man, when it came to it, bro, the work wasn't really hard. It was just the situation that I was in, bro, and having to be able to balance that, which is always a word I keep on me, is balance. And It was definitely very difficult for sure when it came to balancing that. But overall, bro, I told one of my homies, I'm like, to me, at least the school I went to, it was light work, bro. It wasn't as hard as I really did. And I tell people that it's depending on your mindset and what you bring into it is where you make it. You can make grad school as hard as you want it to be, or you can make it as easy as you want it to be. It's just all determined on your intentions and how you put that out into there. But I appreciate y'all. And I just like how I put that post and then everybody named Mama I haven't talked to in a long while just came out of the woodworks. And that was just me just randomly posting it, bro. I wasn't even going to wasn't planning on even posting it. I just got it in the mail and I just took the picture. I'm like, I see the homie did it. I'm going to do it too.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Man, I'm just like, I was like, I'm really happy, dude. Literally.
You next.
Hey, that's all I'm saying, man. I'm in the process right now. I'm about to just transfer to Cal State Dominguez, man.
Hey.
I put in my papers to transfer, so I'm gonna see what's up. I'm gonna try to do it, try to get through it.
You will. You will get through.
And like how you were saying, man, it depends how you make it on yourself. You know, you can be on different situations. You got the environment affecting you. Got a lot of things affecting you. You know what? Like how I always see it, man. You know that Mayweather.
Yeah.
Easy work. Hard work is easy work. That's how I always say it. You just gotta start doing it. Before you know it, it's gonna be done. The task is gonna be done. So just get on it.
It comes to managing yourself within time as well as keeping yourself accountable, self-discipline, and knowing, okay, if I have this paper due in a month and it's 5 to 10 pages and there's 30 days in a month, I can do a paragraph or whatever to the point where it's almost going to be done. Or if you're that type of person who likes to sit and do like a whole bunch of a chunk in a certain amount of a time, you do it. But that's where you come to knowing who you are and how you work. And that's it. But if there's anything else, bro, let me know, because we got 1 minute left before the show ends up ending.
Yeah, it's all good,
I'm going to jump back on right after this again just because, just to be chilling.
I know what you mean.
I know. Come back. But
yeah, man, I'm just happy to see you, bro.
Back at you, bro. We still got to go ball. We got to do
it. Hey, we are, man.
We can.
Hey, no,
when they put rims back on the courts, you know.
For real, I'll be tripping up, man. I got the park right here across the street. Got no type of rims.
Every time you hit the middle of the triangle, the middle of the square, that's a point. I'm just playing.
That's a point. You're a fool, man. Hey, nice seeing you though, man. Hey, shout out again,
Same.
man. I'm happy, man. I don't even feel like I'm a person to even say proud, but I'm proud to see that, man. I'm happy, dude. Legit, bro. Like I'm striving to be just like where you in your position right now.
I feel it,
So
brother.
to see it, like, man, you was right there at FDR, man.
Yes. I appreciate it, man. And with
You know?
that, y'all, this has been episode of What's the Word Wednesdays. We out.